Welcome back to Tranquility du Jour, nourishing conversations about living a full and meaningful life with doses of tranquility. This is episode 528. I'm your host, Kimberly Wilson, bringing you tranquility since 2005 in this medium. Today, I'm talking about a capsule wardrobe, mainly, really, the idea of establishing and creating a uniform. So I'm really excited to share this with you, and be sure to save the date because I'm going to do a live event around this on March 27th at 1 p.m. Eastern Time. And there's a link in the show notes, which you can find at kimberlywilson.com/528 to register for the free event. And just kind of giving a little peek into how to design a capsule wardrobe and how to style one. So let's talk about what that is. And that's what I'm going to be sharing today. In the meantime, I just want to remind you to please hit the subscribe button in your favorite podcast app so you don't miss an episode of Tranquility du Jour. I also want to thank you for people who have given feedback that you're liking the new variety of kind of a little musing by me or me and Tim, and then an interview kind of alternating back and forth. So I'm so glad that's resonating with you. And if you have a particular topic that you're like, you must talk about X, please email me. I love hearing from you. hello@kimberlywilson.com. Now, for anyone who may be new to Tranquility du Jour, a big, big welcome. Delighted to have you here. And you can find out more about Tranquility du Jour, which really began in 1999 with a yoga studio. And then I expanded into an online community so that I could connect with more people and ideally spread tranquility further than the four walls of the yoga studio. So I'm really delighted, especially to my longtime listeners. I just want to say a big, big thank you. And if you all have a chance to pop on over into any of the apps that you use to listen to Tranquility du Jour and to leave a review or hit the 5-star, hopefully it's a 5-star, I would be so, so grateful. My hope is that it helps other people find more tranquility in their every day. Now, a few things I want to mention. March 21st is our next free TDJ Live Masterclass. And, of course, I would love to have you with us. And then the other event that I mentioned is the TDJ Style Pop-Up that's happening on March 27th, which is a Saturday afternoon. Think brunch style. And then the next kind of half-day retreat is happening on April 3rd, which is also a Saturday. And this is going to be a way to really focus on blooming into the new season of spring. All right, so let's dive in. What is a capsule wardrobe and why would anyone want one? So the thing about a capsule wardrobe, and you've probably seen there's some people that have a 10-piece wardrobe, a 33-piece wardrobe, et cetera, et cetera. You know, what I want to just mention is some ways to kind of create your own. And then, as I mentioned earlier, I want to talk about, all right, how do we establish a uniform? And why would you want a uniform? So there's a piece by Alice Gregory on finding a uniform, and she says, wearing a uniform is a way of asserting your status as a protagonist. This is the reason why characters in picture books never change their clothes. Children, like adults, if they care to admit, crave continuity. We recognize Babar in his green suit and crown, Eloise in her suspended jumper, and Madeline in her little yellow raincoat. In other clothes, we'd confuse Babar for some civilian elephant, Eloise for one of Manhattan's innumerable spoiled brats, and Madeline for another of the 12 little girls in 2 straight lines. She goes on to write, and I'll have a link to this in the show notes, you save a lot of money by relinquishing trial and error shopping. Those items you buy and never wear, try and fail to return. Gone is the mental math that goes into calculating how much you paid per wear for that sweater you only put on 3 times, and nobody thinks of a person who wears the same thing every day as unstylish. Rather, it's simply a classification that does not apply. If you too are a person for whom the idea of expressing yourself through clothes feels embarrassing or even just inefficient, then I recommend you find a uniform of your own. There will be some inevitable missteps, but the end result will be worth the effort. Think of it as shopping so you'll never have to shop again. Alice Gregory. And another piece that I had read by her, she said, wearing a uniform is iconic. A cheap and easy way to feel famous, which I just thought was amazing. Okay, and there's one other piece that I came across that I thought you may enjoy, and this is from The Minimalist Vegan, and it's on an argument for wearing the same clothes every day. Michael Ophi writes, at a practical level, I love wearing a uniform to work because it's one less decision I need to make in my day. In previous professional careers, it was an excruciating process to figure out what I wanted to wear to work, and I'm sure many of you would experience the same pain. But beyond convenience and simplicity, a uniform represents equality and unity across an organization. Then he goes on to write, become an icon by wearing the same clothes every day. The late Steve Jobs, a co-founder of Apple, as we all know, is widely considered one of the most iconic entrepreneurs in history. And a quick Google image search of his name will reveal photo after photo of Jobs wearing a black turtleneck shirt, blue Levi jeans, and New Balance shoes. The combination of Steve Jobs' attire and the growth of minimalism in mainstream media has many to believe that Jobs wore the same clothes every day because he was a minimalist. In other words, he intended to reduce decisions he had to make fashion ruthlessly so he could focus on building the world's largest tech company. However, according to Walter Isaacson's fully authorized biography of Steve Jobs, his choice for clothes had less to do with minimalism and more to becoming an icon, which you can read more about in that book, or I'll have a link to this article. Jobs developed a personal uniform to build his brand. So interesting, right? All right, so what I wanted to mention, and I will have a link in the show notes to my uniform. And this has been my uniform, my goodness, I would say 8-ish years probably. And it is the TDJ, which formerly Tranquility, my clothing line, capri legging, and the 2-in-1 fitted top. So I'd say before that, it was the 2-in-1 chemise, which is sleeveless and longer, and then a flair leggy, which is a different pant that we don't create anymore. Although those of you who love it and miss it, email me and we can definitely still make it. It's funny, I still make it for some longtime supporters. But that was my uniform before. Now, the thing is, okay, well, what about when the weather's different? I still wear it year freaking round. And what I do is I add layers. So even in the summertime, of course, I'm cold because of air conditioning. And so, but if I go out and about and it's like 95 degrees and I've got a long sleeve black shirt on, well, I just push up the sleeves and it becomes a 3/4 length. And I can even kind of pull it down so it's like a little off the shoulder. So that's one of the great things, about having a versatile wardrobe. Also with the pants, okay, maybe like, well, leggings, you can't wear leggings professionally. Well, what I will often do is then I'll layer. Maybe I'll put, say I'm, going someplace where I need to dress up a little bit. Well, I can add a skirt over it. And then I will add maybe tall boots. So you don't know I have on leggings underneath it, but I feel nice and secure. I love, love, love leggings. I just live in them. Also, in other months, whenever it's like, oh, I want to wear an open-toe shoe, maybe like a clog, but it's still a little chilly and I want to wear my leggings, then I do an over-the-knee sock, right? And then I've got the sock, I've got the clogs, and then I've got it over my leggings. So it's just one of the ways in which you can take just a basic 2 pieces, super duper basic, and build off of it. You can layer all sorts of things over it. As I'm recording this podcast, I have, of course, my uniform on. I just completed an online ballet class. And in addition to the uniform, I've added on top of it the long sleeve wrap tunic that I've tied. And I wore that throughout the ballet class also. And I'll probably wear it out and about to walk the dogs and maybe pick up something special for dinner. So the thing about a uniform that I love is it allows you to not have to think, what am I going to wear? Now, do you have to have just one uniform? No. I mean, that's what I have. It sounds like that's what Steve Jobs had. I think Mark Zuckerberg, there's quite a few people that tend to do this. And the thing about it is you can have a few uniforms that are like just your go-tos. And, with so many people working from home now, it's really great to limit, the decisions you have to make in the day. And we also want to get up and feel like we're putting on something that also makes us feel good. I'm all about feeling good in my clothing. And that's why I love the TDJ clothing, because it's fitted. Granted, we have loose pieces for those of you who don't like fitted, but I like fitted. I feel like it swaddles me. It's very secure. I like that. I like to feel swaddled and secure. It's almost like how, you swaddle a little baby. That's how I feel in these clothes. Now, whenever we think about a capsule wardrobe, which might help you as you consider what your uniform might be, I want to give you just some ideas on creating a capsule wardrobe. And again, from there, you could pull out a few looks that may become your uniform. The other thing I want to mention is color. I know that there's so many beautiful colors out there, and I would say for the past 10 to 15 years, I've worn all black. It's just easy for me. And then we transitioned the clothing line from, I think we had 16 colors at one point. It's just craziness. And down to all black. It just makes it super duper easy. Now, you do not need to go all black. You can do whatever you would like. Maybe you have, beiges or grays or blues, and all the above. That's great. The thing is about a capsule wardrobe is you want the pieces ideally to mix and match. And that's what I love about having a solid color. Now, granted, blacks are never really always quite the same, but that's okay. It doesn't matter to me. And what I like to do to kind of spice it up is add a pop of color with a scarf, with a lipstick, with the shoe. So there's different ways to do this that allows you to dress up and also dress down. All right. So if you would like to create your own capsule wardrobe, which is basically a collection of essential and versatile pieces, again, that will mix and match. One way is to do a big closet purge, right? So you just take everything out of your closet and you go through it and see if you can get down to your top 10, 40, 50, 20, whatever pieces. And, of course, you're going to have some things that are like ski wear or, fancy wear or winter coats or, things along those lines, or even like workout wear that may be kind of a different wardrobe set altogether. That's fine. It doesn't need to count necessarily with this. But once you have your kind of top 10 to say, let's just say 40 pieces, then from there, it can be great to create an inventory list, right, of all these 40 pieces. And then to look and be like, 1 and 20 and 5 pair together to make this really great layered look, right? So you can see how these different pieces that you've chosen, that you've narrowed it down to, can go with multiple things. And if you have something that you just love, say like a sequin skirt, right? And you're like, no, it's holiday. I love it. I like to wear it on my birthday, whatever. Keep those things, right? This is not about like getting rid of everything in your closet that brings you joy. What we want to do is make your closet filled with joy and not overstuffed with things you can't and don't wear, right? So that's really the idea behind this. And then, kind of playing dress up, right? To see, I can mix this and this. What I'll do in the show notes is I'll also link. Over the years, I've created a PDF of 21 looks that can be created from my uniform. Now, some of the pieces we're not carrying anymore, but of course, if you wanted them, we could create them for you. But the idea is, okay, how can I dress this up or down, right? I can add on like a tulle skirt. We have a mini mesh skirt And, with my 2-in-1 fitted. And then, I actually wore this during the holidays. Of course, I kept my leggings on under that and then just wore an over-the-knee boot with it for a holiday event. So, there's different ways to work with this that allow you to dress up and then dress down by just wearing the uniform and putting on my ballet slippers and doing my work at the bar. Okay, so the thing is once you get it narrowed down to those favorite 10 to 40-ish pieces. Now, one thing I want to mention is say you have a uniform. So like I do, I probably have 8 of these 2-in-1 fitted tops and probably 8 of the capri leggings. So I wouldn't count that as 16 pieces. I would say that's 1 top, 1 bottom, right? So, if you have a uniform that you have a lot of because you wear it every day, you don't have to count that as like 16 of the 40, say, if you were going to kind of really try to narrow your wardrobe down. Now, a few things that are essentials that I think are really, really helpful to have in any closet. And of course, this varies now because, as I'm recording this, it's during the pandemic. So many people are working from home. So they're not really out and about seeing people. But I do think it's still important that we feel like we're put together. Just the good news is like, say you have an online Zoom meeting. Well, you could be wearing a blazer with little jogger pants and feel super duper cozy from the waist down, but still look professional from the waist up, which may not be something that you would necessarily wear at the office. So a few wardrobe essentials I want to mention. Everybody needs a little black dress. Okay, that's just like a given. We've got a slip dress in the collection. We have a wrap dress in the collection, a swing tunic in the collection. Some of these pieces that are just really kind of like iconic and again can be dressed up or down. So think of that with your 10 to 40 pieces. Black pants in a versatile fabric. So of course I've got my leggings. And then a couple years ago, I bought some that are like a stretch. I can never wear anything that doesn't have stretch, but like a very thick kind of cottony that has a little bit of stretch in it. That just is like a dressier, almost like a cigarette pant. Think Audrey Hepburn. A black tank top, a given. You got to have that. And the one that we have that I just love is the boyfriend tank. Dark wash jeans. I know light jeans are also popular. So whatever you like. The thing about dark jeans is I just feel like they can look a little dressier. So again, that helps to dress up and down. A wrap dress. So that might be your little black dress. A white tee. So for some people who I can't wear white. Oh my gosh. I would just I have so many black animals and I would just be coated in hair. But a white tee is just very crisp. And some people also like to do a white blouse. It's so chic. Like some little pearls. A black blazer. Of course, we have the crop blazer, which is just adorable. 3/4 sleeve and a shorter cut. So it just hits you in a nice spot. A cardigan. So I love cardigans, right? So my long sleeve wrap tunic, things along those lines serve. The boyfriend cardigan, they all serve as like a cardigan for me, the duster wrap. And then also a midi skirt. And, of course it varies, right? From mini all the way to maxi. I like midi because it's, I don't know. I just feel like it's clearly it's between a mini and a maxi, but I think it's nicely dressed up or down. So thinking about these different pieces as you're going through your closet of okay, what are the essentials? But also consider your lifestyle. So if I'm throwing out here a blazer and a midi skirt and you're like, honey, I am on the floor with my toddler all the time, then that wouldn't really make sense for you, right? Because we want things that work with your lifestyle and that you feel really, really good in and make it easy peasy to get ready in the morning. Now, a few things to keep in mind that really help dress up or down, and it's all about the accessories. So I'm going to mention a variety of accessories because sometimes we just think, oh, earrings, necklace, right? But there's so many more. And, shoes can definitely dress things up or down. So say that black wrap dress that I mentioned is kind of an essential to have. Well, you could pair that with little white sneakers. And, it's more of a spring summer look, but super duper cute to make it more casual. Or you pair it with a fancy kind of clog or a heel. And you've got something that's more kind of cocktail chic. So thinking about having as much as possible pieces in your closet that allow you to dress up or down, mix and match, and are classic and somewhat iconic. Again, so you don't have to, go out and buy new wardrobe or new pieces all the time. It's like, what if you just had like a few staples and that you just rotated, and as you needed to replace them, you replace them. Like say that white t-shirt, you're going to need to replace that from time to time. And then a few accessories I just want to mention, because accessories are so fun. And, some people make their own accessories and they're typically not too expensive. So, of course, a smile, always, always helpful. I know we can't really see it underneath the face masks now, but I have gotten better at reading eyes, and you can see when those little eyes like squint because the cheeks have lifted. Also, of course, a face mask is a wonderful it's a necessary accessory now, but they're coming in so many beautiful prints and fabrics. And my mother makes them in leopard and damask for the clothing line for anyone who's interested. And they have an adjustable ear piece, which is really necessary too if you're double masking right now. Brooches, which can be really fun, picked up at, say like flea markets or Etsy or vintage shops. Sunglasses, scarves that you can tie in your hair, around your neck, around your wrist, super cute with a little scarf. And also around your handbag. And of course, there's necklaces, long faux pearls, fancy up a black tee and jeans, earrings, right? Hats. We recently added a beanie to the collection, and it's super duper cute. And it's just great whenever you want to hide your hair on those bad hair days, or, days you're like, I'm not doing anything with this. And you just throw on a hat. Bags in general. Arm and leg warmers, rings, umbrellas can be a great statement piece. Belts. I love adding belts to even like the long sleeve wrap tunic that I mentioned that I'm wearing now. And I think there's a photo of a belt with the long sleeve wrap tunic over on the website, which is kimberlywilson.com/TDJ. But, it's just like a cute way, again, to add a little bit of flair. And especially if you're wearing like a monochromatic look. Your outerwear, things like today I was walking down to the farmer's market and someone was like, oh my gosh, I love your coat. Is that antique? And I was like, yes, it is. It's vintage. And she was like, is it real? I'm like, absolutely not, because it's leopard print. I'm like, of course not, right? But it's something I got at a flea market in New York City maybe 20 years ago, and it was vintage then. So it's quite old. But that's just one way to do like just little signature touches, your signature style with your outerwear. Footwear, of course, with shoes. So those are a few ways or ideas on creating a capsule wardrobe, adding a bit of flair with the accessories. And of course, there's like makeup and skincare and all sorts of stuff, which is a whole different podcast episode. But one other thing I wanted to mention, of course, is barrettes. Barrettes are so popular now, and they're really great. For a while, I've been growing out my bangs. And so barrettes have been so fun. And then, they come in all these like great sparkles and pearls and all sorts of different looks. And, so they're just really cute, but they're also incredibly practical. Same thing with bobby pins. Things along those lines are also just fun ways to add a little bit of flair to your basic outfits, your basic looks. All right, so I hope you feel inspired to consider a uniform of sorts, whatever that might be. And no, you might have a pandemic uniform and a post-pandemic uniform, whatever works for you and feels like it just helps you with the decision making. And, it helps kind of clean out that closet of stuff that is not being worn, and donate that, give it to people in need who could benefit from it. And then you have a closet that you love to open and look at because it just doesn't feel so overwhelming. All right, so I hope this has been helpful. Please send me an email. Let me know what you think and what comes up for you with regard to a uniform and or a capsule wardrobe. Also, if you have not joined our TDJ Insiders Facebook group, please be sure to do so. Would love to have you over there with us. And if you're not receiving love notes, you can sign up for that. There's a link in the show notes. Also a link to my planner and my 6 books and ways to find me on social. And of course, a link to the clothing line that I mentioned, TDJ by Kimberly. And again, whenever we think about capsule wardrobe and whatnot. Really seasonless, I think is so, so important. I wear this, as I mentioned, year round, and I've worn it in freaking like Canada in, late fall. And of course, in like, say, Florida, or let's say Oklahoma, because it's really hot there, Oklahoma, in the summer. So it's great whenever you have pieces that are easy to just, wear summer, fall, winter, spring, the whole shebang, just by adding more layers or subtracting layers. All right, wishing you a wonderful week ahead, and thank you again for tuning in. Have a great, great day. Bye-bye.